Welcome into SportsZone. I'm your host, Jeremiah Russo. The NHL trade deadline just took past this past Friday, as now for the push for the playoffs is about to happen. Joining me now to discuss those events that went down, we have Sean Huntley and Steven Lucero. Guys, what's going on today?
I'm excited for what I just saw these past couple weeks in the NHL trade deadline. I'm ecstatic. About as ecstatic as the Bruins and the Rangers right about now.
I mean, I don't blame you.
Fair,
I mean,
fair.
let's just really quickly take a look at Boston. Boston now 49-8-5. They're the fastest team to 100 points in the NHL in only 61 games and are about to set the record for the most games or most wins in a regular season, that being 65 games. I mean, just taking a look at some of the trades, they got Dmitry Orlov. We have Ethan Hathaway coming in there. Just around the league, too. Tarasenko, Kane, both to the Rangers. Maple Leafs picking up Ryan O'Reilly, Jake McCabe, Sam Lafferty. I mean, you got Jacob Chikrin, who we all thought, might stay still in Arizona, now goes to the Senators. I mean, Steven, what did you just see from all this madness?
I mean, like you were saying, the list goes on and on. You just probably maybe got half of it, if that. It was insane. Most of the time I look at the trade deadline, and I'm really excited for that last day. But this time, it was insane. It was all week. I was having to check to see when the trade deadline was because it was a frenzy every single day of the week. It's nonstop action, and I really enjoyed it.
I mean, when it started with the Islanders locking up Bo Horvat, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was like, well, we'll see what happens, and it just started going nuts. I mean, I saw a big name start falling off the board just like that. Yep. I mean, the biggest one I'd say is Kane and Tarasenko to the Rangers, but I mean, look at the Bruins right now. They just got Orlov and Hathaway, like you said. Now they've also got Tyler Bertuzzi. Two of those players have already contributed big. Orlov's got 3 goals and I think a +8 in 3 games, and Bertuzzi contributed to that 4-2 win over the Rangers on Saturday. So they're rolling right now.
I mean, the Rangers did drop a bag, just like my heart, when I found out Patrick Kane was leaving the Hawks. I mean, just surreal for some players. Yep. Like, you think about franchise players, for even sure. Jonathan Quick, 15 years in the league, 2-time Stanley Cup champion. He's gone. They just dissed him out like that.
No one was
ridiculous.
Safe. It was insane.
Now, taking a look at all these trades, let's kind of take a look at the state of the NHL. Obviously, the East, they're the powerhouse. I mean, you take a look. We always mention Boston. You got Tampa still. You got the Caps. You have all of a sudden the Hurricanes actually solidifying themselves as a legitimate team. What's going on, Sean?
I mean, so right now the deadline's over. Teams are starting to settle in. They're trying to see if their players can gel together. For the team that, that got a lot of players like Toronto, they're going to see how, everybody can kind of combine and see if they can make a big push because they're most likely going to face Tampa in the playoffs. So we'll see what they can do down the stretch. They lost O'Reilly for a couple of weeks with the broken finger. So we'll see what they can do later on. But right now, I think everybody's just trying to get together and see what their new team can do and how far they're going to go to try to get a Stanley Cup.
I mean, I feel bad for Toronto. I mean, if there's one team you do not want to see in the playoffs, if you're Toronto, that's your first-round matchup against Boston. Yep. I mean, who can forget the 3 goals and then overtime of Patrice Bergeron absolutely burying it? Like, my buddy's a big Toronto fan. Let's just say it was a rough night. A little counseling over there.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, that's just what, the Metropolitan or the other one, the Pacific?
Yeah.
Not Pacific, the Atlantic?
Atlantic.
What else is going on in the East?
Well, that's what the entire Eastern Conference. I mean, normally at this point of the year, you're looking at maybe 1 or 2 teams that you think can make a Stanley Cup run. I mean, you can name like 6 in the East right now. Obviously, the Bruins are on top, but you have a lot of guys at their heels. There's a lot of teams ready to compete. It's insane because every single night it is anyone's game in the East. It's crazy. It really
You got to watch
is.
out for a team like Carolina, too.
For sure.
I mean, we haven't seen teams like Carolina compete like this in a long time. I mean, for the longest time, after they won the Cup, they weren't very good, and now they're rising to the ranks. We're gonna see how far they go whenever they match up against a team like New York, and we'll see if they can face Boston in the playoffs.
I mean, last time successful was 2019 or 2020 when they dethroned the Caps.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
was Game 7, Mr. Game 7 himself.
Mr.
Williams, I mean, absolutely ridiculous. But also, let's take a look at some teams that haven't really. The Senators. Almost since the Penguins got eliminated them in the finals. I mean, we got Buffalo from Dominic Hasek era just what's going on here? The East is just absolutely popping off. Now, I do want to get to this point. Obviously, we got to focus back trade deadline, guys. What was, in your opinion, what do you guys think was like the biggest success trade that they pulled off, or maybe the biggest bust? Steven, I'll start with you.
Well, I mean, I think it starts with the Rangers. I know that there's still questions, but you brought in 2 true superstars. Like you said, a franchise player in Patrick Kane, And Tarasenko, he's been with the Blues for I don't know how long at this point. It's just no one was safe during this trade deadline. And the Rangers, they went all in. Like I said earlier, it's an arms race in the East, and the Rangers, they're ready.
As far as bust goes, it's kind of too early to tell. We're only a couple days past, but best acquisitions, I hate to say this and jump on the bandwagon, but I'm going to go with the Bruins. They're just adding depth to their already insanely stacked roster, and they're pushing as far. I mean, they're getting everybody together, and they're saying, we're going to go win this thing. We haven't been able to win something in a long time. This is our last year to maybe win a cup with all these players. Let's go win it.
I mean, in my personal opinion, I can never trust the number one team. And that's definitely bit me in the butt sometimes. You got Tampa, the best team in the league, and then Colorado last year, one of the better teams in the league. We'll see, in my opinion, if Boston, yes, they're at a high, but it's a whole different game once it comes to playoff time. They can be on the high as much as they want, but give me a scrappy team like the Rangers or even the Senators get in. Give me a team like them, and now what's going to happen in 7 games? You don't know.
Yep.
I mean, I think bust-wise, though, trade, I'm going to have to go to the Rangers, though. I have to
Really?
I know
Really?
I know you get success. I give it a bust. Here's why.
Interesting.
Tarasenko, that's a plus. I know you gave up a lot of big pieces up there. You had a first round and all that. But Patrick Kane is going to be a bust to me, and I'll tell you why right here. Patrick Kane, if the Rangers don't make it to the finals, it is absolutely the worst trade I think the Hawks somehow won, because you're banking on your one opportunity, just like the Bruins, to make this thing, and all of a sudden now let's say you get eliminated by the Devils, which I'm calling it right now, Devils in 6 against the Rangers.
Oh.
What are you going to do? You're going to do nothing.
Tough take.
Tough take. But you know what? NHL, we got 30 games, 20 games left. Coming up next, we got UNT men's basketball and the CUSA bracket coming up next. Welcome back into SportsZone. The UNT men's basketball team finished strong this season. As the last game of this season, they destroyed Western Kentucky 67-33. Absolutely atrocious. I'm so sorry for you Hilltoppers. But joining me now to discuss the Mean Green as we head into the CUSA tournament, I got Matthew Wagner and Caleb Lansing. Guys, how are we doing today?
Great. It's a good day for Mean Green basketball.
I mean, well, today may not be a great day.
Probably not.
Actually, that's a lie. You know why? Because earlier today, we got to give a special shout out here. Conference USA Player of the Year.
Tyler Perry.
Let's
go.
Medea himself. I mean, that's the right move in my opinion.
Oh,
what
for
do
sure.
you guys think?
Yeah, easily. There's some speculation it was going to go to Jelly Walker, but I think they made the right decision with this. It's definitely got to go to TP.
I mean, for good reason, Jelly Walker. I mean, granted, injured for some of the
Exactly.
season, maybe, kind of helped Tyler Perry. But Jelly Walker is undeniable, unfortunately.
For sure, yeah.
Caleb, obviously, great success. Let's take it back to the Western Kentucky game, though. 67-33. What did you see out there?
Yeah, it was just a dominating win. This is the perfect way to go into the CUSA tournament, just playing your best basketball, and they definitely did that, dominating Western Kentucky.
Oh, easily, yeah. They definitely came out and they absolutely took them behind the woodshed, as if you were to put it. I mean, that was, if not, I know, yeah, the Hilltoppers aren't the best team, but to me, that was the most complete and just dominating performance we've seen this season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it actually looked like, thank God, that the team actually just, gelled. All of a sudden, everything just made sense. Now, especially towards this time of the year, you don't want teams to just start falling off the wagon, and then all of a sudden, the confidence dips. Then they're thinking about, oh, no, is it, what's going to happen? This is what you want to see out of UNC.
Oh, yeah.
After a team that unfortunately is known for kind of losing the lead a little bit, choking, kind of getting a little too complacent, this is what you wanted to see. Pedal to the metal, holding their opponents to the lowest scoring until they actually scored this against Southern Nazarene. We don't talk about that game, though.
No, we do not.
I mean, Western Kentucky shot 27%. Absolutely atrocious.
I feel bad for the Hilltoppers, but, I mean, it is what it is. And we didn't even have Kai in that game, right? And that, like I said, I thought the team played a little bit better even without Kai. But, I think when he comes back, it's going to be a fun time, especially for the tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, touching on that subject, most wins in program history in a season, 25-6. I mean, Caleb, is this team better than last year's? Because last year we set the record, too, at 24. We got 25, so that's one more. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to say if they're better. I mean, last year's team was pretty good. You have 4 players that average over 10 points a game. This year you only have 3, but Tyler Perry makes up for that. He had 17 points a game, obviously. And, yeah, I think they're definitely possibly better. The way that they're going to show if they're better, though, is if they win the CUSA tournament. Obviously, last year UNC couldn't do that. But if they can do that this year, they'll definitely be the better team, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. We either play FIU or La Tech, and personally, I'd rather play La Tech, but I think it's not going to be an easy road, right? We got to go through all these teams that are going to be. And I think the main team we want to avoid, UAB. You don't want to play UAB again. Yeah, we beat them when they had Jelly, but I don't think we can do it a second time.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, so we play the quarterfinals Thursday night. We play tomorrow night. We got FIU and La Tech. You're taking La Tech. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a good matchup. I agree. I'll take La Tech. Why not give me a little bit of that revenge game? I mean,
for sure.
Lowest scoring Conference USA game last year in the playoffs. What was it, 27 to 33?
Yeah.
Against Baby Shaq. Credit to you in Memphis, but you're not that good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Our team should have absolutely destroyed you, and we did it. Whatever. That's on us. I think FIU La Tech. Give me La Tech. I'm going to go UNC over La Tech.
Yeah.
And obviously, you don't want to face UAB. I say give me UAB. Only reason why? Now, going out on that high, say you beat UAB, right?
Yeah.
You're feeling unstoppable. You got to go against a team like FAU that has the easiest road. They're like the Eagles this year.
Oh, easily.
Easiest road to the Super Bowl. And just like the Chiefs, they got the hardest, and they're going to win it all. What do you think?
Yeah, give me. I'll take UNT. I think they want some revenge from last year. I think they can do it. And I'm trusting them. I'm going to trust them.
Caleb, you believe in the Mean Green?
I believe in UNC this year. I think they really got what it takes. I mean, you have a pretty complete roster. And obviously, Tyler Perry is doing his thing. I think they got what it takes.
Yep, let's do it.
Let's get it on. I mean, we take it on. We face the winner of FIU La Tech tomorrow, or not tomorrow night, Thursday night at 8 p.m. So come out to Frisco, pack it out, go Mean Green. It's going to be a green out game. Coming up next, we got the Dallas Mavericks as their push to the playoffs begins as well.
Are you feeling okay?
No, I've been feeling gross all week.
Maybe you should go get a COVID test.
But I already have all 3 of my shots.
Yeah, but you can still get it. I mean, maybe you should go get one just in case.
Yeah, you're right. We have that party and all that.
Yeah.
Where do we even get tested here?
Let me check.
You can find free COVID testing sites at the University Union, room 381 on weekdays, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., and on weekends, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., and at Chestnut Hall, room 120 from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. You have to show the QR code given to you when you arrive for an appointment. Tests take no longer than 10 minutes to complete.
I got a negative COVID test.
man. Me too. Oh my god, let's go to the party. Yes. Let's go.
Welcome back to the SportsZone. I'm your host, Jeremiah Russo. Dallas Mavericks took on the Phoenix Suns last Sunday actually, and I wish we don't ever speak about it. But unfortunately, that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about Dallas Mavericks, and joining me now to do that, we got Mason Shepard, Gabby Pippins. Guys, how are we doing today?
Doing all right, man. How are you?
I mean, that was a rough game. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little hurt. I love Kyrie. I love KD. I have his Brooklyn Nets jersey, but unfortunately, that one just stung a little bit too much.
Yeah, it was a tough game.
Very tough.
Gabby, what did you see out there from us? Any good? Any bad? What did you see?
Well, first, I just want to say that this was already a devastating loss, but the worst part is the stadium was at full capacity that night. So everyone saw that. But yeah, I mean, they were playing really well. They caught up at halftime, 62-59, but Devin Booker and Durant were just a little too much for the Mavs there, scoring a combined 73 points. Kyrie and Luka still did a pretty good job, though, scoring 64 combined, but it was definitely just a very tough game for them.
I think they're ready, Mason. What do you think?
See, here's the thing. I agree with your sentiment. I was honestly impressed, for a little bit there, just on like them being able to keep up. I think it was one of those things where you are trying to establish yourself as a team with new players and things like that, and you really have to kind of learn how you gel. And I think they did that well for like at least the first half, where they were competing and things like that. I think we all know where the rough part starts, but I was very impressed with how they were able to keep up on offense.
I mean, you take a look. I mean, all they did was add KD, and we added Kyrie. And early in the season, we blew them out. We had the 130 points earlier this year. We were all there. I mean, just a complete flip.
Yeah.
Just shocking. I mean, now Mason, I got to ask you this.
Yeah.
Is this anything on Kyrie and Luka? Do you think that this kind of relies on them? Because this was the trade that Luka wanted. Luka outright, or he didn't outright say it, but he asked the execs. He really pushed to get a second superstar. But now it looks like it's kind of backfiring. What do you think?
Well, I think, here's the thing. I wouldn't say complete backfire. I think whenever you get like new talent, especially when it's a superstar on a team with your superstar, you're going to have, like I said, you're going to have to learn how to gel. You're going to have to learn how to get along and work together in terms of the court chemistry, how things are going to go back and forth, who's going to take this shot, who's not going to take this shot, who do we facilitate to. So I think they need to work on those things. It definitely seems like Durant and Booker have those things kind of figured out a little bit better, but I wouldn't say like backfire.
Yeah, me either. This was still a very good move for the Mavs. They just need, I like how you phrased it there, to gel together. They need to figure out how to play together and how to just be this duo together instead of trying to focus on their individual games and individually how to be the dominant player or how to be the so-called star player of the team. I think once they figure out how to bond and actually work together as a duo, all of the other problems will be erased.
And then the Suns can run it back,
I mean, as much as I'd love to run it back, but going back to Gabby's point, how much time do we need for this? I mean, we're less than 20 games into the regular season. We're sitting at 7th in the Western Conference. We're almost about to fall into the play-in tournament.
Right.
That's not a position that we want to be after being a team
know.
from the finals or conference finals. I mean, at some point, I agree with you. They're going to have to gel together, but again, at what time? I mean, we're kind of running low.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is getting to be crunch time here. I don't know exactly when.
And you never will. That's
yeah,
the point.
that's how it works.
You never will. That's how court chemistry works. It's
Right.
going to have to happen naturally. You can't force it.
Right.
Okay, so now let's say, Kyrie, final year in the contract, we extend him. First off, do you see him staying here? Second off, do you see this maybe actually being a long-term deal?
Do I see him staying there? I will say yes. I could see him staying there because I could see him wanting to feel the place out and really trying to see if he could really do something with the Mavericks and go places. Now, will it be long term, past like 2 years and all that stuff? I don't know. Kyrie's a bit unpredictable. I think we all can agree on that. So I don't know about that one, but do I think he'll be back? I think he'll be back for sure.
Yeah, me too. I don't really see any reason why he wouldn't come back. I mean, especially like you said, to kind of fill out the team, see what he can do here, especially playing with a player like Luka. I mean, who wouldn't want to be on a team with Luka? So I don't know if it's going to be long term. I would maybe say 3 years max if I had to guess. But
yeah, I mean, I don't see him staying another day if we don't get another person. I mean, we need to address some defensive issues immediately. I'm saying grab guys like Jake Podol, even Nikola Vukovic from Chicago, or even Mason Plumlee. I think those are guys that they need to target because if this team sits in almost last spot for the actual playoffs, what reason is there for Kyrie to stay?
Right.
No, that's very true. And we can't go on having 100-point games back and forth with other teams. That's going to keep us at 7. So. Yeah, no, we definitely have a defensive issue.
Yeah, Gabby, really quickly, we play the Jazz tonight, 7:30. What are some key takes?
Honestly, I just think that as long as maybe this will be the game when they finally gel, who knows? And if that is, then I feel like they'll have no problem. But if it isn't, I can't really say. I mean, I do want to touch on this really quick. Tim Hardaway Jr. actually did a really good job in the game Sunday. He had 21 points off the bench, and so maybe if he's able to also step up, that would be a great addition to that game.
Yeah, well, the Utah Jazz, Dallas Mavericks tonight at 7:30 as the push for the playoffs begin for both teams. But coming up next, we're going to keep it NBA with a little bit of a twist. We got NBA all-decade teams coming up next.
Hey man, are you okay in there? You look terrible. Have you been up all night? Don't you know that according to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, staying up all night can have a negative effect on your GPA?
Sleep?
Yeah, go to bed.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
Has the weight of stress and anxiety ever felt too heavy to overcome? Wish there was a safe place to confide in? Wish granted. At UNT, we offer counseling and testing services to students located on the 3rd floor of Chestnut Hall. UNT, we're here for you.
Welcome back to SportsZone. We're talking NBA all-decade teams. So now, this is how the rules go. Obviously, first we got Jose Moreno, Drew Maurer. Guys, how we doing?
I'm doing great.
So we got all NBA all-decade team. This is how it's going to go. You got to pick one position, one player per position. You got point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. You got 5 decades. You got the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. Y'all can't double up on a player, but we're just going to go right into it. All right, Jose. All right. We're going to start with 1980s. Who do you have in the 1980s?
In the point guard position,
In 1980s?
it is the face of HIV medication. Magic Johnson, I need you on my team, buddy. He's going to lead us in the point. He's going to lead us with getting chicks to all of our players. He is the certified GOAT that no one will ever acknowledge for some reason. What about you, Drew?
Well, I was going to go with Magic Johnson, but you stole my pick, so I'm going to have to go with John Stockton, one of the best passers of all time, averaged 15 assists on multiple occasions. Going to be a great addition to this big lineup. Hopefully I can get a lot of these guys, but John Stockton.
That's a top 3
Yeah.
white guy.
John Stockton.
I can't believe
I got
you just
another
came
top
out
3 white
here
guy
and
later.
HIV, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was something
If
for
that
sure,
doesn't
but
tell
he-
you how this show's gonna go, all right. I got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's my centerman, undeniable player. 6 championships. He got 5 in the 80s. Undeniable. I'm not starting with Jose again. Start us off, Drew, please. I can't even go. Go. Just go.
Well, I'm going to take the very obvious pick here. I'm going to go Michael Jordan for the 90s, the GOAT, undisputed. I'm taking him here in the
I can agree.
90s.
I agree.
The greatest player to ever do it, greatest player to play in the 90s.
That's my pick too. I understand. I
Gonna
love
add
it.
some shooting, add some defense, average a lot of steals throughout his
Oh my
career, very
gosh.
underrated part of his game. Jose, you got something to add here, don't you?
When you
Yeah,
think
go ahead.
of basketball, you think of fetching the ball, you think of getting rebounds, you think of a motivation.
For whatever reason, you thought of HIV, and that's how we got
shooting
there.
guard. We're gonna have Air Bud, the dog from Disney's new hit movie Air Bud, which released in the '90s.
We're
new.
not
It's
not
on Disney
sponsored
Plus.
by Disney.
Disney
or Air
Plus
Bud
has
or
all your
anything.
favorites.
No.
Air Bud. Air Bud 2, Air Bud 3,
This is turning into an advertisement
Air
right
Buddies. All the favorites. Up next, what's up?
No, it's Jeremiah's turn. Yeah,
Well, I had Jordan. In the 2000s, I'm going to go with the very interesting. It's not a Jose take, but it's a take. We're going Jason Kidd, Mr. Triple-Double himself.
No, that's-
I mean,
that's solid.
he won in 2010, 2011 with the Mavs. I mean, I think a solid pickup.
No
I kind
doubt.
of needed a little bit of a point guard in there. What do you have, Jose?
This guy's got
Who
the
are we
same.
sponsoring now?
This guy's got the same amount of championship wins as I do passing grades right now. Carmelo Anthony, representing the 2000s. I'm talking about Nuggets Anthony, the type of Carmelo Anthony you go, oh wait, yeah, he did play there, huh? Everyone remembers Knicks Anthony, but I'm going with 05 or hell, even Syracuse Carmelo. I got that jersey at home. I'll take one
Well,
of those.
this is NBA, not NCAA, so you can't go Syracuse, but I'll respect it. Drew, what do you have for us?
I'm going to take Shaquille O'Neal in the 2000s. I mean, I don't think there was a more dominant big man in that era than Shaquille O'Neal. Dude is 7 foot, breaks the backboard on multiple occasions. He's just adding to the stacked lineup. Dude,
You kind of
Stockton,
put yourself in a
Jordan,
tough position, though. In the
Shaq?
2000, you're taking Shaq?
You don't even have Air Bud. Like, how are you
I
gonna
don't have Air Bud.
Nobody has Air Bud. Only you have
Yeah,
Air
you're
Bud.
the only one on. You're kind of alone on that one.
All right, this is kind of our era now. We got
2010s.
2010s. What do you have?
For power forward, I have the greatest power forward of all time in his retirement era, Ben Wallace. You always need some good D and great defense. So Ben Wallace is the best at, great D. So I think that's my guy. I'm going to go with Ben Wallace, just a phenomenal player. He shut down Shaq in 04, but by this time he was playing on the Cavs.
You're just letting me run away with this team right now.
No, but your team sucks. Like, I have
My
Air Bud.
team doesn't suck. I'm taking LeBron James in the 2010. You're literally letting me have the most stacked.
Can you not look at my list?
LeBron lost 5
letting
in the
me-
finals, and,
I don't
and
care.
Air Bud 0 final losses.
Whoa, how many appearances?
You're putting the GOAT and the people's GOAT.
Somebody
on the
hasn't
same
watched
team.
Air Bud because he's a
I have
champion.
not. I don't have Disney Plus like we're advertising out here.
Disney
I can't. No Disney Plus. I agree. I'm gonna go with LeBron James. You got almost a three-peat in Miami, and then he goes to Cleveland to win it. All right, we're gonna wrap it up real quick. 2020s. I'm going Giannis. That's my big boy. I mean, you got a more built Kevin Durant. There's no one scarier than him on the court.
That's a great pick. I think for my center, the most important position on the pitch, you need someone who's big, tall, strong, and I'm going with Bobo, baby. No one can beat Bobo. That's my guy.
Okay, Drew, please make this quick, bro. What do we have here?
I'm taking Kevin Durant in the 2020s. Give me Brooklyn, Kevin Durant. Let's just say injuries don't
He's
exist
gonna
in this
leave your
situation.
team in like 2 years.
Yeah, but we have him for a
If
minute.
y'all see what's going on as they argue and we discuss about NBA All-Decade teams, you can tune in this Thursday at 5:30 p.m. where you'll see pretty much the exact same thing. Don't forget to follow us at NTTV_sports, and don't go anywhere because coming up next is NTTV Nightly News.
Watch Disney Plus, Air Bud now.